Now let's take a look at how we can sculpt this model more completely. Right now we've used the move brush to adjust the overall forms of it to get a general sense of the proportions and the shape, the position of the nose, the profile of the character, the sense of its brow, and all of that stuff. But those are only the biggest forms. But now we're going to want to get in and start taking a look at how we can sculpt lips and all kinds of different parts. And we'll look at many ways to do that. But the first way that we need to really look at is going back to the standard brush. So again, I click the brush palette, click on standard, and now let me introduce you to the most important and fundamental part of sculpting inside of ZBrush, and that is Z-add or Z-sub. These two buttons are incredibly important and will determine whether or not you are pushing in or pulling out. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I've got Z-add on. I'm going to draw on the model, and you can see it is pulling out towards me. If I turn Z-sub on, it pushes in away from me. Pressing Ctrl Z to undo. Usually I leave Z-add on, and then I press and hold Alt to push in. So that makes it very simple for me to quickly go in and build form. So again, Z-add is on. I can go in, press and hold Alt and push that in a bit. Let go of Alt, press Alt, just to kind of carve that in a little bit. I like to carve the all the distinctive bony landmarks as much as possible. And here I'm trying to trim this area down. So this is one way that you can do it, but one of the things that you notice is that it starts to get really lumpy, and it's hard to create a really refined surface right there. So the next thing that is very important to sculpting inside of ZBrush is being able to use the smooth brush, which is located right here. And the smooth brush, as I go in, will just average out the surface. Which helps me create really clean form. Now, as you're sculpting, it would be kind of a pain to constantly switch brushes into the smooth brush just to get this kind of form, because you want to be able to be working very, very, very fast. So let's go back to the standard brush. And let's try this again. I'm going to go in and just start to suggest lips. I'm going to put the nasolabial fold in place. I'm going to start to add some volume here, and you can see how it's getting a bit lumpy. Now I might switch to the smooth brush to fix that, or I can just press Shift. And Shift will automatically take me to the smooth brush. So that was a Shift. Now I'm pressing Alt, building up some form, pressing Shift, building up form, pressing Shift, press Shift. Oops. Also, whenever I sculpt inside of ZBrush, I am almost always switching and turning on perspective mode. So you turn perspective mode on in the draw palette, perspective, and you can see the difference in the model. So it's very important that you get that early on. Again, draw and perspective. Now I can go in and start to suggest ears. But you can see how I add form and then smooth it out. That's par for the course. Take your draw size down. and build form up, continually adding, smoothing, adding, and smoothing. That is the key to understanding sculpting inside of ZBrush, is to continually add, refine, and go from there. So let's give this guy a bit of a evil brow. And notice how the polygons are very faceted. The model is very, very faceted. That is something I really do not worry about too much at this stage. I am going to go back into Move, though, increase my draw size, and pull those cheeks up a bit. Pull that out, and just recheck my bone structure. Do I want a character like that, or in like that? So all up to me. Move lets me do a lot of changes, either in the beginning stage or later on. It's all up to me.